Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily English Podcast. Today's episode is a little special because we're not just going to learn English. We're going to learn how to use podcasts as your personal English teacher.
That's right. A lot of learners think podcasts are only for listening. But the truth is, if you use them in the right way, podcasts can help you speak English more confidently, more naturally, and faster than you think.
Let me ask you a question, my friend. Do you already listen to podcasts in English? Or maybe you've tried once or twice, but it felt too hard, too fast, or maybe even boring.
If that's you, don't worry. Today, we're going to show you a step-by-step plan for how to use podcasts, not just to listen, but to practice speaking, learn real vocabulary, and train your ear for English sounds.
And by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to turn any podcast into a language classroom that fits right into your daily life.
So let's begin with the big question. Why are podcasts so powerful for learning English?
Number one, real conversations. Most podcasts are people talking naturally, not slow textbook English, not robotic sentences, but real voices. And that's exactly what you need if you want to understand people in real life.
Number two, they train your ears. Think about it. English has so many accents. American, British, Australian, Canadian, even non-native speakers from all over the world. If you only learn from one teacher or one book, you'll get used to one style. But podcasts, they expose you to different voices, tones, and rhythms.
Exactly. Number three, you learn the rhythm of English. English isn't just about words. It's about how those words are said, the pauses, the intonation, the stress on certain syllables. Podcasts help you hear this natural flow every single day.
And number four, they fit into your life. You don't need to sit in a classroom. You can listen on the bus, while cooking, while walking, even while doing exercise. It's like having a private English lesson in your pocket.
I remember one of my students told me, "Teacher, I don't have time for English." And I said, "Do you walk to work? Do you clean your house? Do you wait in traffic?" She said yes. And I told her, that's your classroom. Use podcasts.
Let's give an example. Imagine you listen to a podcast for 10 minutes every morning. That's not a lot, right? Just 10 minutes. But in 1 week, you get 70 minutes of real English input. In 1 month, that's about 300 minutes, 5 hours. And in 1 year, that's 60 hours of English.
Exactly. And here's the magic. It's not just listening, it's immersion. When you hear English every day, your brain starts to think in English without forcing it. That's how children learn their native language, and that's how you can learn too.
Okay, now that we understand why podcasts are so powerful, let's talk about the most important part, how to use them effectively. Because just listening is not enough.
That's true. If you only listen passively, it's like watching a movie without paying attention. It feels nice, but you don't remember much. So let's go step by step.
Step one is choosing the right podcast. Don't pick something too hard or you'll get discouraged. Don't pick something too easy or you'll get bored. Find the just right level.
Here's a tip. If you understand less than 30%, it's too hard. If you understand more than 90%, it's too easy. The sweet spot is around 60 to 80%. That way, you understand the main idea, but still learn new things.
For beginners, you can start with podcasts made for learners, like ESL Pod, BBC Learning English, or Daily English Podcast. For intermediate learners, try something more natural, like All Ears English, The English We Speak, or even TED Talks Daily.
And for advanced learners, dive into any podcast you like. Technology, history, psychology, business.
Exactly. The key is choose something you enjoy. Because if you like the topic, you'll keep listening. If you don't care, you'll quit.
Now, step 2, listen actively. What does that mean? It means you don't just play the podcast in the background while doing something else. Instead, you focus.
Here's how. Listen to a short part, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Pause. Repeat what you heard out loud. If you don't understand, listen again.
This way, you train both your listening and your speaking at the same time. Let's try a mini example. Imagine the podcast says, I usually wake up early and drink coffee before work. You pause and you repeat, I usually wake up early and drink coffee before work. Say it again until it feels natural.
Exactly. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Just get used to moving your mouth in English, because every time you repeat, you build muscle memory for speaking.
So far, we've talked about how to choose the right podcast and how to listen actively. Now let's move on to the next step, which I think is the most powerful technique of all, shadowing.
Yes. Shadowing means you don't just repeat after the speaker, you actually speak with the speaker at the same time, like a shadow. That's why it's called shadowing.
Think of it like singing along to your favorite song. When you sing, you don't wait until the song finishes. You follow the rhythm, the melody, and the timing. Shadowing is the same idea, but with spoken English.
Exactly. Let's give a simple demo. Imagine the podcast host says, "Welcome back to our show. We're happy you're here." You don't pause. You jump in and say it together. Welcome back to our show. We're happy you're here.
At first, it will feel strange. You might miss some words, you might stumble, you might feel slow. But that's okay. With practice, your mouth, your tongue, and your brain start moving at the same speed as the speaker.
This is how you learn the music of English: intonation, stress, rhythm. It's not about perfect grammar. It's about flow. And flow is what makes you sound confident.
Okay, step 4, taking notes of new words. Now, here's the mistake many learners make. They write down every single word they don't know. And after 10 minutes, they have a huge list and they feel overwhelmed.
Yes, that's a big problem. The truth is, you don't need to write down everything. Focus only on the words and phrases that are 1. Repeated often, 2. Useful for your daily life, 3. Connected to the topic you love.
For example, if you listen to a podcast about travel and you hear the phrase, book a ticket or catch a flight, write that down, because chances are you'll actually use those phrases.
But if you hear a rare word like ornithology, which means the study of birds, well, unless you're a bird scientist, you don't need it right now.
Exactly. Less is more. 1 or 2 new words per episode is enough. Write them down in a notebook or on your phone. Even better, make a small personal dictionary of podcast words.
And here's the golden rule. Don't just write the words. Say them out loud. Because writing builds memory in your eyes, but speaking builds memory in your mouth.
Now step 5, speak out loud. This might sound obvious, but many learners make the mistake of only listening silently.
Yes, they think listening alone is enough. But if you want to speak, you have to open your mouth. There's no shortcut.
So here's what you do. After each short segment of the podcast, pause and repeat the main sentence in your own voice. Even if you don't say it perfectly, just say it.
For example, if the podcast says, "It's important to practice every day," you pause and you say, "It's important to practice every day." Say it again 2 or 3 times. Each time you repeat, it becomes more natural.
And here's a fun trick. Record yourself on your phone. Play it back. Compare your sound with the podcast host. You'll notice differences in stress, rhythm, or pronunciation, and that awareness will help you improve.
Don't worry if your voice sounds strange. Everyone hates their own voice the first time. But remember, your voice is your tool, your instrument. The more you use it, the more confident you become.
Let's put this all together with a practice example. Suppose we're listening to a short podcast about daily routines. The host says, I wake up at 7, make a cup of tea, and check my emails before work.
Step 1, you listen carefully. Step 2, you shadow the speaker. Say it together. I wake up at 7, make a cup of tea, and check my emails before work.
Step 3, you take notes. Maybe the phrase, check my emails, is useful. Write it in your notebook.
Step 4, you pause and repeat it out loud in your own voice. I wake up at 7, make a cup of tea, and check my emails before work.
And finally, step 5, record yourself, then play it back and compare.
If you do this with just 1 or 2 sentences a day, you'll see a huge difference in your speaking after a few weeks.
Remember, learning with podcasts isn't about speed, it's about consistency. 5 minutes a day is better than 1 hour once a week.
Yes, think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush for 3 hours once a week, you brush a few minutes every day. That's how podcasts should be.
And the best part is, you can always make it fun. Choose podcasts on topics you love. Movies, travel, sports, technology. Because when you enjoy the topic, you forget you're studying.
Exactly. And that's the secret. When learning feels like fun, it never feels like work.
All right, we've learned the steps. Choose the right podcast, listen actively, shadow, take notes, and speak out loud. Now let's go a little deeper. You might be wondering, which podcasts should I actually listen to?
That's a great question, because the right choice depends on your level. Let's break it down. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
If you're just starting out, you need something slow, clear, and simple. Podcasts like BBC Learning English, The English We Speak, ESL Pod, or even Daily English Podcast are perfect.
Yes, the sentences are shorter, the vocabulary is explained, and the hosts often repeat important phrases. That way, you don't feel lost, you feel guided.
Here's an example. In beginner podcasts, you might hear, today we are going to learn the word confident. Confident means sure about yourself. For example, I feel confident before my test.
Notice how clear and slow that is. Perfect for training your ear.
Now, if you're at an intermediate level, you can handle more natural conversations. Podcasts like All Ears English, 6-Minute English, or The English We Speak are fantastic.
These podcasts are short, but packed with everyday vocabulary. They explain phrases like to chill out or to break the ice, things native speakers say all the time.
Exactly. And they're not too long, usually 6 to 10 minutes, so you can fit them easily into your day.
Finally, for advanced learners, the world is open. You don't have to limit yourself to English learning podcasts anymore. You can dive into any topic you love: business, history, psychology, technology.
Some great examples are TED Talks Daily, The Daily, New York Times, or even niche podcasts about science or culture.
At this level, you're not just learning English, you're learning knowledge through English. That's the real goal, using English as a tool for life, not just as a subject in school.
Now, let's answer another important question. How do I fit podcasts into my daily routine?
Yes, because it's not about listening once in a while. It's about building a small habit that you can keep every single day.
Here's a simple daily plan. Morning, listen to 5 minutes while brushing your teeth or walking. Afternoon, shadow 2 to 3 sentences during your break. Evening, review 1 new word or phrase, say it out loud, and record yourself.
That's it. just 15 minutes a day. But if you keep doing it, in 1 month, you'll have practiced for about 7 hours. In 6 months, that's 40 hours, and in a year, you've basically given yourself a free English course.
Let's imagine a learner named Anna. She works at an office, she's busy, she has kids at home. She thinks she has no time to study.
But Anna starts listening to podcasts. In the morning while making breakfast, she listens to 5 minutes of BBC Learning English. At lunchtime, she shadows 2 sentences from All Ears English. At night before bed, she writes down 1 new phrase and says it 3 times out loud.
That's it. Just 15 minutes a day. But if you keep doing it, in 1 month, you'll have practiced for about 7 hours. In 6 months, that's 40 hours. And in a year, you've basically given yourself a free English course.
Let's imagine a learner named Anna. She works at an office, she's busy, she has kids at home. She thinks she has no time to study.
But Anna starts listening to podcasts. In the morning, while making breakfast, she listens to 5 minutes of BBC Learning English. At lunchtime, she shadows 2 sentences from All Ears English. At night before bed, she writes down 1 new phrase and says it 3 times out loud. 3 months later, Anna notices something amazing. When she speaks to her foreign clients, she feels more confident. Her pronunciation is smoother, and she's not scared of fast English anymore.
That's the power of routine. Small steps, repeated daily, create big change.
Maybe you're listening to us right now and thinking, but will this really work for me?
Our answer is yes, if you do it consistently. Remember, learning English is not about talent. It's about daily effort.
Every sentence you shadow is a brick. Every phrase you repeat is another brick. Day by day, you're building the house of your fluency.
And one day, you'll realize you're not just listening to podcasts anymore. You're speaking English with confidence, just like the hosts you used to copy.
So we've covered why podcasts are powerful, how to use them, which ones to choose, and how to build a daily routine. Now, let's take it even further. Let's talk about practice challenges you can try with podcasts.
Challenge number 1. The 1-sentence shadow. Pick 1 sentence from your favorite podcast every day. Just 1 sentence. Listen, shadow, repeat, and record yourself until it feels natural.
Exactly. Don't try to do the whole episode. Focus on 1 line a day. In 1 month, you'll have mastered 30 natural English sentences.
Challenge number 2. The 5-minute retell. Listen to 5 minutes of a podcast, then pause. Close your eyes and try to retell what you just heard in your own words. It doesn't matter if it's simple, it doesn't matter if you forget details, the goal is to speak.
And if you can't remember much, that's fine. Say whatever you remember. Even if you only say, they talked about coffee. Coffee is popular. People drink coffee every morning. That's still practice.
Challenge number 3. Podcast to real life. Take 1 phrase from a podcast and use it in real life the same day. For example, if you hear the phrase, break the ice, try to use it in a message to a friend. I told a joke to break the ice at the meeting.
Yes, that's how you connect podcasts with your actual life. And when you use a phrase once, you'll remember it forever.
Another powerful thing about podcasts is that they give you cultural windows. For example, when you listen to an American podcast, you hear how people talk about sports, politics, food, or even weather. That's not just language, it's culture.
And culture is important because sometimes understanding English is not about words, it's about context. If someone says it's raining cats and dogs, you need to know they don't mean real cats and dogs. They mean heavy rain.
And podcasts show you these expressions naturally in real conversations. That way, when you talk to native speakers, you won't feel confused.
And even better, you learn global English because podcasts are not only from the US or UK, they're from India, Singapore, Africa, Europe, everywhere. Each one gives you a piece of the world.
All right, let's do a quick guided practice together. Dear listener, I want you to try this with us right now.
We'll give you a sentence. Your job is to repeat it with us, shadow it, and then say it in your own words.
Ready? Here's the sentence. Podcasts help me learn English every day.
Okay, step 1, shadow with us. Say it together. Podcasts help me learn English every day.
Good. Now, step 2, repeat it alone. Pause this episode and say, podcasts help me learn English every day.
Step 3, make it personal. Maybe say, podcasts help me improve my English at night. Or, podcasts help me speak English with confidence.
That's it. You've just turned a simple sentence into your own practice.
So, my friend, what did we learn today? That podcasts are not just background noise, they're a powerful tool for fluency.
We learned that you can shadow, retell, take notes, and use phrases in real life. We learned that culture is hidden inside language. And we practiced together, right here.
Now it's your turn. After this episode, choose one podcast, one sentence, and practice it today. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Because fluency isn't a dream, it's a daily action. And every action you take brings you closer to the English speaker you want to be.
We've already built a strong foundation. Daily practice, choosing the right podcasts, shadowing, and turning words into real-life phrases. Now let's go one step further. Let's talk about how to create longer practice routines.
A lot of learners start strong, but after 1 week, they stop. Why? Because they don't have a bigger plan. They only think about today, not the whole month.
So here's a simple system. Weekly and monthly goals. Weekly goal. Choose one theme. For example, food and cooking. Listen to 3 to 4 episodes about that theme. Learn 5 to 10 new phrases. Monthly goal. At the end of the month, record yourself speaking for 3 minutes about that theme without looking at notes.
That's powerful because it gives you direction. You're not just listening randomly. You're building topic vocabulary and fluency step by step.
Exactly. Imagine after 3 months. Month 1, food. Month 2, travel. Month 3, work and business. By the end, you can talk about 3 major areas of life with confidence.
Now, let's go back to shadowing, but in a more advanced way. When you first start, you shadow word by word. But later, you can shadow with emotion.
Yes, don't just copy the words, copy the feeling. If the host sounds excited, sound excited. If they sound serious, sound serious. Because English is not just words, it's emotion.
Here's a quick demo. Sentence, I can't believe how amazing this story is. If you say it flat, I can't believe how amazing this story is, it feels empty. But if you copy the host's excitement, I can't believe how amazing this story is. Now it sounds alive.
That's the difference between speaking English words and speaking English like a human.
Another advanced technique, speed shadowing. Try playing the podcast a little faster, 1.25x speed. Shadow it. At first, it feels crazy, but over time, it trains your brain to process English faster than normal.
So, when you return to normal speed, everything feels easier. It's like running with a heavy backpack. When you take it off, you fly.
Let's give our listeners some quick challenges. Are you ready?
Challenge 1. Pause this podcast right now. Say one sentence you heard today in your own words. Go on, we'll wait.
Challenge 2. After listening today, open your phone's voice recorder. Speak for 1 minute about your morning routine. Don't worry about mistakes. Just talk.
Challenge 3. Send that recording to a friend or even just listen to it tomorrow. Compare yourself. You'll notice improvement even in 1 week.
Remember, these challenges are not for perfection. They're for practice. Perfection comes later. Practice comes first.
Now let's pause for a moment and talk heart to heart. Maybe you've been learning English for years. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you think, I'll never sound fluent.
But let us remind you, fluency is not magic. It's not talent. It's the result of tiny daily actions like listening to podcasts, repeating sentences, and speaking out loud.
Every time you shadow a sentence, you are planting a seed. You don't see the tree today, but in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, you'll look back and realize, wow, I've grown.
And don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to yesterday's you. If today you can say one more phrase than yesterday, you are already winning.
So stay with us. Keep practicing. And remember, your voice matters. The world needs to hear it.
So far, we've practiced shadowing, repeating, retelling, and even creating weekly goals. But you might be thinking, how can I make podcast learning more fun, like a game?
That's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's turn podcasts into little language games. Because when learning feels like play, you'll never get bored.
Game 1. Pause and predict. Listen to 1 minute of a podcast, then pause. Ask yourself, what do I think they'll say next? Make a guess in English, then play the podcast and check.
Yes, this game trains your brain to think ahead in English. It's like having a conversation where you predict what the other person will say.
Game 2. The word hunt. Choose one common word before you start. For example, time. Every time you hear time, raise your hand, clap, or write it down. This sharpens your attention and helps you notice vocabulary in context.
Game 3. Change the ending. After listening to a story in a podcast, pause and create your own ending. For example, if the podcast tells a story about missing the bus, imagine your own version. If it were me, I would take a taxi instead.
This turns passive listening into active creativity. You're not just copying, you're inventing.
Now let's move into question and answer practice. Many learners listen but never practice responding. That's why they freeze in real conversations.
So here's what you do. When the podcast host asks a question, even if it's rhetorical, pause and answer it yourself.
For example, if the podcast says, "What's your morning routine?" Pause, answer out loud. I wake up at 7, I drink coffee, I check my phone.
Even if nobody is listening, pretend they are, because that's how you prepare for real conversations.
This brings us to another powerful trick. Turn a podcast into your speaking partner.
How? Simple. After every sentence the host says, imagine they are talking directly to you. Respond, comment, or even ask them a question.
Example, the host says, "Today we're talking about travel." You reply out loud, "Oh, I love travel. Last year I went to Thailand."
Exactly. Or if the host says, many people struggle with confidence, you can respond, yes, me too, but I'm improving.
It might feel strange at first, but this exercise transforms podcasts into interactive conversations. You stop being a silent listener, you become an active speaker.
Let's try this together right now. Dear listener, we'll ask you a few questions. Your job is to pause and answer out loud.
Question 1. What podcast do you listen to most often?
Pause, answer out loud. Question 2. What new word have you learned this week from a podcast?
Pause, answer out loud.
Question 3. If you could start your own podcast,
What would it be about? Pause. Answer out loud.
Good job. Even if you spoke only a few words, you've practiced turning listening into speaking.
Now, maybe you're thinking, this is hard. I forget words. I make mistakes. That's normal.
Yes, mistakes are not a problem. Mistakes are proof that you're practicing. Every time you forget a word and try again, your brain learns deeper.
Remember, language learning is like going to the gym. At first, it feels heavy, but with each repetition, you grow stronger.
And podcasts are like your workout coach. They push you, guide you, and keep you moving every day.
So don't stop. Keep playing the games, answering the questions, and speaking back. Your English voice is growing, one podcast at a time. By now, you know how to shadow, repeat, play games, and even turn podcasts into conversations. But here's a question. How do you know if you're improving?
That's such an important question because if you don't track your progress, you might feel like you're not moving forward even when you are.
Step 1. Record yourself regularly. Choose one podcast sentence each week. Shadow it, then record yourself saying it alone. Save that recording. Then, after 1 month, listen again. You'll be surprised. Your pronunciation will be smoother, your rhythm more natural, your confidence higher.
Step 2. Keep a phrase journal. Write down one new phrase from every podcast episode you listen to. Not 20, not 10, just one.
Yes. Imagine after 30 days, you'll have 30 useful phrases. And because you chose them, they're personal to you.
Step 3. Set a speaking timer. Each week, speak for 1 minute about what you learned from a podcast. No script, no notes, just talk. Then slowly increase to 2 minutes, then 3.
This shows you that fluency isn't about speed, it's about length and comfort. The more minutes you can speak, the more fluent you feel.
Now, let's talk about mistakes, because many learners use podcasts, but they don't improve much. Why?
Mistake number 1, passive listening only. They play podcasts like background music. Nice for the ears, but useless for the mouth.
Mistake number 2, trying to understand every word. If you stop the podcast every 5 seconds to look in the dictionary, you'll get tired and quit. Focus on the big picture.
Mistake number 3, collecting but not using. They collect new words, fill notebooks, but never say them out loud. Language is for speaking, not just writing. Mistake number 4, no consistency. They listen for 1 week, then stop for 3 weeks. Fluency needs rhythm. Like music, like exercise, it only works if you keep going.
So, how do you avoid these mistakes? Here are 3 simple tips.
Tip 1. Anchor your podcast habit to another habit. For example, always listen while making coffee, brushing your teeth, or walking to work. If you connect it to something you already do, you'll never forget.
Tip 2. Keep it short. Don't pressure yourself to finish a 40-minute episode. 5 minutes is enough. Small steps every day are better than giant steps once a month.
Tip 3. Celebrate small wins. Did you shadow 1 sentence today? Good job. Did you learn 1 phrase? Amazing. Give yourself credit. It keeps your motivation alive.
Now, let's be honest. Some days you'll feel lazy. Some days you'll say, I don't want to listen today.
But remember, English is not just a subject. It's your future. Every podcast you listen to is an investment in yourself.
Think about it. One day, you'll be in a meeting, or traveling, or making a new friend. And the confidence you feel in that moment will come from the podcasts you listen to today.
So don't give up. Don't say, it's too late, I'm too old, I'm too busy. Podcasts don't care about your age, your schedule, or your past. They are always ready, waiting for you.
All you need is to press play and speak. one day at a time, one phrase at a time. That's how fluency is built.
We've shared the techniques, the games, the mistakes to avoid, and how to track progress. Now, let's bring it to life with some real stories, because nothing inspires more than knowing others have walked this path before you.
Story 1. A student named Carlos from Mexico. He struggled with speaking for years. He understood grammar, he had vocabulary, but when he opened his mouth, he froze.
Then he discovered podcasts. Every day, on his way to work, he listened for 10 minutes. At first, he just listened. Later, he started shadowing. Within 6 months, he was able to hold basic conversations with clients in English.
Story 2. A young woman from Vietnam named Lynn. She wanted to study abroad, but her speaking test scores were low. She created a routine: 5 minutes of shadowing in the morning, 5 minutes of retelling in the evening. After 3 months, her IELTS speaking score jumped by 1 whole band.
Story 3. A mother in Brazil, Anna, who was too busy with kids to join a language class. Podcasts became her teacher while cooking, cleaning, and even exercising. Now, she helps her children with their English homework using the same phrases she learned from podcasts.
If you're serious and ready to go further, here are advanced routines you can try.
Routine 1. The transcript method. Many podcasts publish transcripts. Print 1 page, listen while reading, then cover the text and try shadowing again. It's double input, eyes and ears together.
Routine 2. Weekly presentation. Choose 1 podcast episode every week. Take notes of the key points. At the end of the week, record yourself giving a 2-minute summary as if you're teaching someone else.
Routine 3. Podcast debate. Pick a podcast with opinions, like on technology or culture. After listening, record yourself giving your own opinion. Agree, disagree, or add something new. This turns podcasts into debate practice.
Routine 4. Mix and match. Listen to 1 podcast in English, then listen to the same topic in your native language. Compare the vocabulary and ideas. This builds strong connections and makes English phrases stick.
Let's do one last guided practice together. Repeat after us. Podcasts are my daily English teacher.
Now, say it again, but with more energy. Podcasts are my daily English teacher.
Good. Now make it personal. Say, podcasts help me speak English with confidence.
And one more. Every day, my English gets better.
Remember, these affirmations are not just words. They're reminders of the progress you're making.
So, my friend, we've reached the end of this journey together. From choosing the right podcast, to shadowing, retelling, taking notes, playing games, and building routines, you now have the full map.
The only thing left is action. Don't just listen to this episode and forget. Pick one step and do it today.
Because fluency is not built in one giant leap. It's built in small, daily steps. And every step you take brings you closer to the confident English speaker inside you.
So press play on your next podcast. Shadow, repeat, speak, and trust the process.
You are not just learning English. You are building your voice, your confidence, your future.
And we'll be right here, walking with you, one podcast at a time. We've already learned how to practice, how to build routines, and how to stay motivated. But here's another important question. Which podcast topics should you listen to?
Yes, because the truth is, you don't have to listen to every podcast in English. You should listen to the ones that connect with your heart, your interests, and your goals.
Rule number 1, follow your curiosity. If you love cooking, listen to podcasts about food. If you love sports, listen to podcasts about athletes. If you love stories, listen to storytelling podcasts.
Because here's the secret. When you care about the topic, your brain works harder. You remember more, you pay attention more, and you stay longer.
Rule number 2, balance interest and challenge. It's good to listen to fun topics, but also push yourself into useful topics like communication, career, or culture.
Yes. For example, one day you might listen to a comedy podcast for fun, and the next day you listen to a business English podcast for growth. That balance keeps you motivated and moving forward.
Rule number 3, stick with series, not random episodes. When you follow one podcast regularly, you get used to the voices, the style, and the vocabulary. It feels like joining a family.
Exactly. And because the hosts often repeat phrases or ideas, you get natural review without even trying.
Now, let's compare podcasts to other learning methods, because maybe you're asking, why not just use books or apps?
Books are great for grammar and reading. Apps are fun for vocabulary and short practice. But podcasts are unique because they give you real spoken English in real time.
Yes, books show you rules, but podcasts show you rhythm. Apps give you exercises, but podcasts give you emotion. And emotion is what makes language alive.
Of course, don't throw away books and apps. Use them together. But if you want to sound natural when you speak, podcasts are your best daily tool.
Now, let's dream a little. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. You've listened to podcasts every single day, even just 10 minutes.
What will happen? Your ear will be sharper. Your vocabulary will be wider. Your voice will be stronger, and your confidence will be higher.
Imagine 5 years from now. You're not just listening to English, you're living in English. Podcasts are no longer study tools, they're simply part of your lifestyle.
That's the long-term vision. Fluency is not about finishing a textbook. It's about becoming the kind of person who can think, feel, and speak in English naturally.
And podcasts are the bridge to that vision. Step by step, word by word, episode by episode, they carry you forward.
So, dear listener, ask yourself right now, what podcast do I enjoy the most? When can I make it part of my daily life? And what kind of English speaker do I want to be in 1 year?
Write it down. Speak it out loud, because when you declare your vision, you give it power.
And remember, we're here with you. Every time you play an episode, every time you shadow a sentence, we're cheering you on.
Here we are, at the final part of today's big journey together. We've walked through techniques, routines, games, mistakes, and even success stories. But before we close, let's reflect on what we've built together.
When you first started listening to this episode, maybe podcasts felt like something extra, something nice to have. But now you can see they are not extra. They are essential.
Podcasts give you real voices, natural rhythm, and daily practice, without pressure, without classrooms, without borders.
And the best part? They fit into your life. You don't need to carve out hours. You just need to press play and speak with the voice in your ear.
That's the beauty of this method. It's not about studying harder. It's about living smarter.
So, dear listener, here's our final challenge for you. We call it the 30-Day Podcast Challenge.
For the next 30 days, do these 3 steps every day. 1. Listen to 5 to 10 minutes of a podcast you enjoy. 2. Shadow 1 sentence out loud. 3. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute about what you learned. That's it. Simple. But if you do it every day for 30 days, you'll notice something incredible.
Your listening will feel lighter, your speaking will feel smoother, and your confidence will start to shine through.
Don't wait for the perfect day to start. Start today. Your future English self will thank you.
So, my friend, what's the lesson of this long journey? That fluency is not about luck. It's not about being good at languages. It's about daily practice, about using the tools already around you, like podcasts.
You are not weak. You are not behind. You are simply one daily action away from becoming the confident speaker you dream to be.
Every time you press play, you are pressing play on your future. Every sentence you shadow is a brick in your foundation. Every phrase you repeat is another step toward your fluency.
So keep going, keep listening, keep speaking, and most of all, keep believing in yourself.
Because the world doesn't need a perfect English speaker. The world needs your voice, clear, confident, and alive.
And together, with podcasts as your guide, you will get there.
This is the end of today's episode, but it's the beginning of your journey. So subscribe, share, and join us again, because your voice matters.
And we'll keep walking with you. One episode, one podcast, one step at a time.